First and foremost, good afternoon, y'all. It's your boy Banger Etuk, Banger the Menace, Nigerian hot boy. We in this thing approximately 3:43 p.m. We are doing episode 5 of Teacup with Etuk. Oh, don't mind my my little pumpkins trying to feel festive. Today I felt was a serious topic, so I have some additives for my sake. We have some tequila, some clase azul, blanco. Okay? When shit start getting real, I'ma rinse it down with my toilet bowl shot glass. No need to explain. So, the topic for the day that I would like to get into is incestual relationships between parents and children. This is a topic that's very skipped over. No one really likes to pay much attention because people feel like everything's a conspiracy, or they feel like people overthink things, or people need to mind their business if they don't have children. I have 2 children. You see them back there? I have 2 kids. This is something that has been bothering me. If you have any additives, if you have any questions, comments, concerns, if you feel like I didn't address something with enough depth, please feel free to comment, reach out. Let me know. I can even do a second video for you. I can do some reiterations. I just want to make sure we are all having a mature conversation in one piece. I have my Invisalign tray in, so some words are slurring. Just bear with me, okay? So, first and foremost, how are y'all doing today? It's 89 degrees outside. It was just 70 degrees with a nice breeze. Go figure. So, let's get started. Per usual, I will break down these topics into 3 things that speaks to me the most pertaining to the situation. If you guys feel like I didn't break it down in the correct terms, as I said, add whatever you feel. Comment space, you can never run out of space. Type as much as you like. I have, at number 1, incestual relationships between parents and children. Okay? Number 2, incestual relationships between the children by themselves. Okay? Number 3, incestual relationships amongst family friends. People who have been around your family for so long that you either consider them a cousin or an uncle or whatever it may be, a friend, a family member, a family friend, whatever you call your acquaintances in your household. Before I get started, I'm gonna take me a shot. That's that. Boom. Okay. Acts of this caliber differ with moms and dads, in my opinion. So I wanted to take the time to slightly explain them separately, give it a bit of further information so you guys can understand. It's not much so a gender thing, but it's also a upbringing thing. It's a morality thing. It's a location thing. It's a race thing. Like, all of this shit happens in every family. It just may happen slightly different or slightly more. Whatever the case may be. Precious, the movie, is actually a perfect example of a mother exhibiting incestual tendencies toward her child. My example 1. In the movie Precious, she went from being raped by her father and conceiving 2 children to being hated by her mother for it. Her mother was very jealous of something she did not want, to be raped. Her father raped her not once but twice, and it led to him divorcing the mother, Monique. He wanted both of the women in the household, and the mother only wanted to be the only one. I mean, I can't blame her for that, but her concern was not with because her child's being raped. Her concern was with that it was not her. Okay? Remember that saying I was telling you, they not mad at you, they just mad because it's you. It's a sick way to use it, but it pertains, okay? It pertains to the situation. A mother of that caliber typically grooms their children from the very beginning. The children are emotionally and socially abandoned, whether it's accidental or purposely. I know this is off topic, but just peeking at the pumpkins made me think about it. I also have some sweet potato pies that I am making today. They are in the oven. I have not got to the full pie portion. I have got to the point where I'm baking the sweet potatoes so I can peel the skin off once they're finished. That'll be a good 90 minutes, so by the time I am finished with the video, they will be done. I wish I knew how to edit so I can kind of include this, so you can see the pies when they're done. But even if I just make the pies like the front cover of the video, back on point. A parent should never, ever call their child sexy, male or female. There is no such thing as a sexy child. I don't care what nobody say. There are other adjectives to describe an innocent child. There are other adjectives to describe an adolescent, an innocent soul, period. There's no reason for you to be calling them sexy. There's no reason for you to be telling them what you're going to do to them when they get older. None of that. It's all predatory in my opinion. Take it how you want it. A child should never be sexualized, and nor should they be considered in any shit like this ever. Children are innocent in every aspect, even when they are in the wrong. Children are still innocent. You know exactly what I mean when I say children are innocent. You gonna be my boyfriend? It's something friends of your mother's would normally say to you when they feel you have on a nice outfit or you look handsome at the moment. It would be disgusting to hear men say these things to a younger girl. So why do we allow a woman, a grown-ass woman, to say this to a young-ass little boy? I feel like it's predatory each way. There's currently a woman, I won't say her name specifically in the YouTube video, but she is preying on younger college students. She's about late 30s, early 40s. She's preying on younger college students who play basketball, and she's allowing them to impregnate her for financial gain. Now that college students are now able to be compensated for their damn good, she's profiting off of it too, and I feel like it's predatory. No one says anything. She's pretty, so no one bats an eye. Anyway, these type of things that a friend of a mother's would say is taken as a compliment to some, and others can agree with me when I say it's bullshit. A new thing I've seen parents do is dress their children just like the men they are sexually, physically, and emotionally attracted to. Jordans, designer clothes, specific popular haircuts, and most importantly, the music. The music you allow children to listen to forms personalities and beliefs that reflects what the mother looks for in a man. Things are one-sided at the beginning, but as a child entering the puberty stages, you begin to develop emotions. You begin to go through these hormones to where you actually have opinions and you actually have say-sos. So they may not realize it, but they develop their own feelings toward that specific situation, whether they are good or bad, because it can go either way. Unfortunately, some kids do end up falling in love with their mothers, and some kids completely reject the thought, leaving the mothers to be embarrassed, angry, to treat the children horribly because she was rejected. She was denied. That same rejection she feels from her parents, or that she's felt from many other men, that led her to falling in love with her child. It's one big cycle. How many times do you see these people corrected for the predatory and incestual things that they say? You even heard the president, the previous president, which his name will not be announced either. He's even said if he was not related to his daughter would be a woman of his. Anyway, back on point. Once a child enters that puberty stage and begins to notice things about people in their own age bracket, whether it's feelings, a crush, a small schoolgirl crush, the mothers get jealous. The mother has incestually intertwined herself in the child's love life, making it to be their love life, judging every single person they bring home, convincing them to remain lonely and to stay only with just them and the mother, and even becoming aggressive with whatever outsider they decide to bring home. That makes it the furthest, let me say that. No one will ever be good enough to please the expectations of the incestual mother, and no one will ever be good enough for her child, and that's because deep down, she feels like she's that woman. A lot of this sick, very sick and demented behavior derives from acceptance issues amongst toxic parents and their children generations before. Multiple failed relationships, not receiving the love they need, just that overall, at a young age, receiving that trauma can definitely just stall you out from so many things in the future, whether it's love, whether it's family, whether it's business. Trauma is trauma, and you won't notice it until it starts fucking things up for you. Okay. Every time someone reminds the toxic and incestual, my apologies, of their past traumas, they begin to act out, throw fits. I'll always have my man, quote unquote. You are the king of my life. Those are other things that you will hear some mothers say to their sons, which are very borderline incestual and should not be said to a son, whether he is an actual king ruling a land. You are the only man in my life. You will always be the man in my life. My main man. It's just me and you against the world. All of those things just rub me the wrong way because it screams trauma. Why do you feel like that 3 or 4 year old, 10 or 12 year old, 15 or 17 year old, however, whatever age group they may be, infant, adolescent, or teen, why are you putting the responsibility of a man onto them? Because neither one of the ages I named are a man. Not even at 17. You're not a man. So, tell me that. Why do you feel like at that age that she's putting that onto those children, forcing them to be the man? That is why so many children grow up feeling like they have to be the man of the house and they're only 16, 17 years old. It's because that's what was instilled. The men that they seen grow up in their household, dating their moms, it never worked out. They were never actual men, so they had these children opposing man roles, which furthers the ancestral bond. This person really feels like they're a man now because their mom is telling them, you're such a man. The things you do make you a man. It's just damage to the mental. My number 2 topic, of course, was named to be incestual relationships between the children themselves. And I have that here. Shit got real. Okay. Number 2, incestual relationships among the children. Amongst. My apologies. These Invisalign fucking with me already. Sorry, y'all. Over here getting faded when I'm supposed to be spilling tea. Incestual relationships amongst the children is more common than one would think. In my very first YouTube video, I spoke about a situation called trauma bonding. Trauma bonding is a word used to describe similar shared experiences that bring people closer. Never in a positive aspect, though. People love to downplay the severity of it But a trauma bond can be formed from something as small as you and your sister when you were young getting whooped, like not whooped, beaten minutes behind each other, and you both have like bruises, or you're bleeding, or you have a broken bone, and you're comforting each other 5 to 10 minutes after the whoopings, beatings, and just letting you, like, I got you, you're safe, you're my sister, I'm always have your back, or vice versa, switch the roles of brother, or whatever you need to think of the situation thoroughly. That's a trauma bond. A trauma bond could be formed over murder, rape, theft, infidelity, borderline gossip, like anything you can think of. A trauma bond is there. Okay. They trauma bond and connect in ways that relatives have never and would never connect. Most time the curiosity only goes as far as emotionally to feel safe with each other, as I just described with the comforting and the you're my sister, etc. To block out the realities that they live in as well. Having these forms of relationships tends to worsen as they age and get older, because the more trauma you receive, you feel like you have to run to that specific person that you were being incestual with. So the bond and the emotions and the traumatized, like everything just becomes stronger as you get older, because you deal with more as you get older, because you're more on your own. You're no longer a dependent, emotionally, physically, spiritually, mentally dependent child. Does that make sense? I love to say that in between videos or in between speech, just like, does that make sense? Even though y'all not responding, but it helps me. It makes it difficult for these children to display emotion to anyone other than the relative that they share that bond with. To the few that slip through the cracks and get to know this person, or get to fall in love with this person, or catch feelings, or anything, they will begin to notice certain things we consider red flags, and they will begin to see these people for who they really are. Irregular gestures, parents trying to run them off, and over-seeking attention from their mother when they feel like another person is taking that space are all examples of red flags that an outsider may see if you're like coming to visit them after school, or y'all just hang out on a regular, and you're close enough to them to be in the same room as them and their mother, because it's pretty damn bad. Being the girlfriend, the wife, or a woman of interest in either corner, witnessing these things, it'll push you away completely. No one wants to be intertwined with a family of that caliber. This now starts that cycle that I mentioned to you guys. Being neglected, chasing love, and the incestuals that are involved in this, they begin to push themselves back into their relative space. They begin to push themselves back onto their relative. They try to date someone, they try to get away from that trauma. And the one time something fails, they backtrack, fall in love with their relative all over again. Like, I knew I shouldn't have trusted anybody but you. I knew I should have stayed here with you this whole time, etc. They're the only ones who will ever love me, quote unquote as well. We are meant to be together forever, brother and sister. They say brother and sister vocally, but that's not what they mean. This constant cycle with multiple outsiders gives them the confidence to go ahead and publicly step forward and admit their love for their relative, being more than a relative. The more states normalize these kind of things, you will begin to see it more often. But for now, it's hidden in plain sight. There have been quite a few cases where a pair of relatives have become so bonded by trauma, they are willing to publicly come out and say that they are in love with their relatives. I've seen it myself a few times. I'm sure you've seen it at least once. Like, in high school, there was two specific people that went to my high school that they were blood cousins. They were known for being blood cousins. They lived together. They had sex. They were in a relationship. When I heard about this tea, it was some juicy tea. But I was in the 9th grade at the time, so I didn't have a full concept of it. I knew it was wrong then, but now I know why it's wrong, how it's wrong, when does it step in and make shit wrong. Everything under the sun, you know. I study the mental, but not only do I study the mental, I study the heart. And I study them when they work together. I study them when they're mad at each other. I really study both of these individuals. Because you can't have one without the other. Especially the mother gut down here. You always trust your gut instinct. And if you don't, you better follow that heart. If you don't follow that heart, you better follow that motherfucking mind. Because you shit out of luck. Let you think with that. Let you think with anything else. I ain't gonna go there. Let you think with anything else. That brings me to the end of number 2, and I will lead into number 3, which will be incestual acts from a family, friend, or a close family relative. These are the things that young girls face as a child, and they don't even buy their own clothes, so go figure about that. Women and young girls have this thing where they are judged for existing. These young girls are coming into puberty. These young girls are finding that, you know, what they like about fashion or what they like in clothes or what fits them the best, and they're judged for it. The whole time they like something for being cute. They like something because it's trending. Adults, incestual adults, let me not be vague. The incestual adults twist the narrative and make it seem like they only like this because they're fast, so they're trying to have sex appeal, or they're trying to appear sexy. No, a hit dog will holler. You believe that they look sexy, and that is your guilt, reaching out to yell at them and express anger to them. Now, I'm not saying walk out the house with your pussy out. I'm not saying that at all. But you know what I mean when I say there's PG-12 outfits that are, you know, that have been popular, like really cute for age-appropriate girls, like gachos or... Man, that shit was something. It's so many trends that happen with fashion. You know what I mean. Like so many things that white girls have wore to school that black girls have been dress coded for due to how they fit into the clothes. But it's the exact same outfit, the exact same designer, the exact same store, just different hips. Okay. Especially older relatives that expect you to be a nun. No matter how much one bothers, provokes, or harasses, little girls are policed in every aspect about their reaction, especially little black girls, as I just mentioned. Women are taught to maneuver around reality instead of being taught to live and to survive in it. Certain clothes, as I just mentioned, certain morals, certain behaviors, and certain religions are screwed into a child's mind not only to brainwash them, but to steer them from possibly even, you know, thinking or steering or even going as far as veering off. You know, the moment you veer off, you know how strict parents get. They snap you back to reality so damn fast. Like, instead of dealing with rapists in the community, instead of dealing with rapists in the household or family members, instead of dealing with these predatorial, incestual individuals, we are taught to make ourselves non-rapeable. How fucking stupid. Tell me, how does that sound? Instead of disciplining and giving the person the treatment they deserve for being a rapist, or the treatment they deserve for being pedophilic, or the treatment they deserve for, you know, anything of the nature, the treatment that you actually deserve, just fucking imagine telling the victim, tighten up, or why do you have that outfit on, or you don't think you were the reason for this to have transpired. That shit, you should get slapped in your face. Like, usually I try to be classy in my Teacup with Etuks, but clearly that's not working. That's only getting me 30 views a pop. So let me keep it real motherfucking raw, no cut. That shit should have got you slapped in the face. Why you a fucking rapist? Why you a fucking child molester? Why are you touching on your relatives? Why the fuck are you brainwashing children to fall in love with you? Not the other way around. No matter how cautious you live, something it can still happen to you. Most times, the only place a child goes to and from on a consistent basis is school, right? School, daycare, whatever it may be. So sad to say, the introducing of a predator into the scenario will 9 times out of 10 be a family member. The main relatives calling you hoes, the main relatives calling you fast, the main relatives saying you are too grown, you dress too grown, you act too grown, are the main ones that's the rapists, are the main ones that's married to rapists, or the main ones that have been raped in the past, and they are judging you. They're projecting onto you. Instead of seeing what the situation is at hand and read in the motherfucking room, they just gonna blame you because that's easiest, and they're an adult and you're the child, and that's what the fuck they said. How many times have y'all had to deal with something like that? You're short, I'm tall, I'm big, you're small, and there's nothing you can do about it. I know I changed it a bit. Copyright. Sue me. I'm just kidding. As I said, the main people in your family calling you fast and telling you you're too grown for your age are the main ones who know exactly what the fuck I'm talking about in a second. I never would imagine this type of shit to happen on a regular basis, to even have to be spoke about. It shouldn't happen at all on any basis. But incestual bonding is very real. Incestual bonding happens more than you think, where people form literal bromances for their relatives or for their sisters or for their uncles or for their cousins, because the father figure they had in their life really steered things the wrong way for them. Really made them believe like this is what someone has to do to show you they love you. This is what they have to do to show you that they are a real man in your life. And you can't shame them for it. You can't shame people because they don't know better. What you can do is teach them, steer them in the right direction, let them know this may be trauma bonding. This may be a little bit associated with some trauma that I've read up or that I've studied on in school. Is that too much? I know that's not me being naive. Genuinely, is that too damn much for you to do? I wanted to bring awareness to the situation in general because the laws are being passed to limit the voices of victims, and not only that, but just to be able to live scot-free knowing you do the things you do to children or to women or to anybody in general. And I also wanted to state, yes, I've spoke about women a lot in this video, and I don't want y'all to think this is a biased situation whatsoever, because men and young boys go through this same shit as well. Young black boys are sexualized as well, hypersexualized. They have these black men growing up to be hypersexual and needing sex every hour of the day because of something they were introduced to as a child, out of someone's trauma. So many children go through so much shit on a regular basis, and you adults are only worried about yourselves. Imagine how strong these fucking children have to be in a time of turmoil. A child should never fucking have to be strong because it's a child's job to be a child and dependent. Why the fuck are they practicing independent living? Emotionally, mentally, physically. Cause some of y'all put y'all kids out when they come forward about stuff like this and let them hey, my uncle or my cousin, this has been happening in my life. Y'all put them out. Y'all beat them. Y'all say they're liars. Knowing it's happened to you in the past, you rather push that trauma out, you rather be in denial, and you rather attack your child from anger instead of resolving some shit that happened with you 30 years ago and that's happening with your child now. I don't want to constantly just speak about shit, you know, because I genuinely, every single video I've done has been about a situation that has been dear to my heart, warm to me, a situation close to me. I don't just talk about other people for the fuck of it. I study other people like a motherfucker. But every single video I've done, I relate to, I have done. This is my life that I'm writing about. Simply, just know it's not just about me. There are damn near billions of other people on the planet. I know you've been through it. I know you have a cousin that's probably been through it, or you have a homegirl that's probably been through it. So if I have the confidence or the courage to step out, step up, and step forward about some shit, just imagine the confidence you could pass off to somebody, or imagine the confidence that you can instill into yourself by witnessing it roll off of me, you know. That's all I wanted to do, was just shed some light on this simple subject this week. This has been the episode of Teacup with Etuk, and I thank you so much for viewing this video. I am about to go check on my sweet potato pies. Once I peel them, of course, I'm going to get everything mixed up. I'm going to post the finished product, and I can't wait to see you guys on episode 6. Thank you so much. I love y'all. Banger the Menace, Nigerian Hot Boy, a banger Etuk.